Yes. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome in the EIBTM Tech Hour, the last one, the third and last one. It's a massive turn-up. I mean, I don't know what happened last night at EIBTM Club Night, but apparently some people got stuck somewhere at the beach. But I'm very glad all of you are here. Let's see if we can make this interesting. Shall we just make this a little bit more intimate? I mean, feel free to come in, but I'll get you up in a second, then we all sit in the front row, okay? Before we start, how many of you actually have their smartphone with a camera with them? Can I see a quick raise of hands? Okay, because obviously this is all about learning, and you've been having so many experiences and so many input throughout the last few days. I invite you all to keep that phone ready, and as soon as you see something interesting from one of our panelists or something on the screen or something that happens, take a note, take a snapshot, and then since you have that photo anyway, I would love you to share with us what some of the takeaways and thoughts and interesting ideas that you get from this hour are. And this is where you can find us on Twitter, hashtag EIBTM14, so all the other folks that didn't make it into the room yet can actually get your learnings from this session. So let's see how that goes. Now, as I said, we work with a panel. Well, let's not call it a panel. I think the three of us are just going to try to make an interesting conversation with you about what wearable technology is, what's coming at us, and what it actually means for the meetings and events industry in terms of both risks and opportunities. So let me introduce my panel. On the right is Peter Komornik. He's the CEO and founder of Sli.do. Sli.do is all about audience interaction, and we will use Sli.do during this session as well. I'll get to that in a second. Earlier this year, I was interviewing Peter for the Fresh conference, and as you see, we just called him the guy with Google glasses, because he's actually the first conference attendee that I ran across that was wearing a Google Glass throughout the conference, and we'll be hearing how that experience was for him. And on his left is this guy. It's the bionic man. It's Xavi Guardia, CEO of Move, and Move does interactive team building activities, quizzes, but definitely also has a department which is now called Move Solutions. And he knows anything there is to know about all the different wearable technologies. He's wearing quite some stuff, and we'll kind of explore what he's doing in right there. But before we start, I'd like to know, what are you guys wearing? No, I can see that, of course, but I'd like to know where you stand. And we came up with a little question, because we can actually do a little test with you and predict how many wearables you're going to wear in the near future. So the key question I want you to think about for a second is, how many times a day do you actually pull out your phone and check it, on average, right? So give that a number. I would say I do that at least every 10 minutes. There's 15 wake hours in a day, so that would be something like 95 times a day, something like that. Now, and what I invite you to do, if you have that number, please come up and forward and line yourselves up from the lowest to the highest number that you guys have in the group, right? So please come up, have a number in your head, and figure out where you are in the spectrum of this room. You got it? So how many times a day do you pull out your phone, put the number, find out with each other where you are? Low on that side, high on that side. I hear 40 here. Abby is 40. Okay. He's more. Let's see where you go. Come in, come in. That's high, that's low. Should do it like that. Low, high. So this means you actually have to talk to someone, right? Otherwise you can't figure out what their number is. We got it? This is lowest. You guys figured it all out? You know what your neighbor has? That's the whole idea, right? That you ask him, like, how much do you have?
But I mean 50, 60.
50, 60. Where are you? 50, 50, 70, 70. Oh, Alex is going on. He's moving down. Where are you at? 80 something. You? Hundreds. Hundreds of times. Yeah. And this end, where are you? 50, 50, 40, 35, 30, 30-ish. All right. Now, Xavi, tell us, what does this mean? I mean, where's the 50 break? This is about 50, right? We got only one person with 100.
All of you. No, sorry, it's off.
No, I think it's on. Pim, can you keep his mic up?
Yes, yes. All of you that check more than 50 will have more than one. All of you that check more than 100 will have 2 to 4 wearable devices.
In the near future.
The others, at least one.
At least one. All right, because that's the whole idea, right?
Yeah.
This device is magic, it has so many functions, but it's kind of annoying that you have to pull it out of your pocket all the time. You have to manually input all these things. And a lot of these technologies that we'll see in a second are all about reducing those movements. It's very asocial behavior, right? It's very weird if you're on your phone all the time. So it's nice if that's all tucked away and it's really automatic and frictionless. Right, since you're up here in the front anyway, have a seat in the front row so we make this whole thing a bit more intimate. All right. Because we actually invite you to pull out your phone right now so we can actually see how this works with the Sli.do tool throughout the session. If you feel you have any questions, obviously we're in a small group, so raise your hands and you get a mic and we talk. But if you feel more comfortable being the quiet guy in the back, please use your mobile and go to Sli.do.com. It will ask you to input a session code. The session code is actually Wearables. And if you enter that, you can participate in our first poll. We do about 3-4 polls throughout the session. And once you're there, you can also input your questions. Or if you don't want to ask a question yourself, you can upvote questions of others. You're like, ooh, I didn't think of that, but that's a good question. Let's see if we can take the debate in that sentence. So did you all manage to get to Sli.do.com? Enter Wearables, then we can get our first poll. Can we see the first poll up? There it is. First question is, we've listed a couple of devices which you might know or not know. And the question is, which of these are wearables? Let's see how well you are on the definition of a wearable. And as you can see, it's a multiple option question, right? You can tick multiple boxes. We see in real time the answers coming in. Five votes. Let's see if we can get at least a 10. So it's Sli.do.com, hashtag wearables. All right. And there it goes, software. All right. Hey, people. Have you found the opportunity to ask your questions throughout the session? Feel free. Peter is actually moderating that through his Google Glass. He can see what question, and he can also see it on the monitor. But we can see which questions comes in and which questions you actually vote up as the most important questions. So he can interrupt us anytime that happens, and he'll be our sidekick. Now, Xavi, what would you say a proper definition of a wearable technology is?
Yes, a wearable device. As in the International Wearable Conference in '98 said, it's a computer that you can wear on your body and operates all the time and can help you to enhance your actions and can track your activity and can be operated without using your hands.
All right.
So,
if we look at the list, smartphone is not a wearable because you have to use your hands to operate it. Important division. The bra, it's definitely a wearable, but there's no computer inside, hopefully, yet.
I will show you one, yes. We have a Japanese model that it's a bra and it's wearable device.
All right.
I will show you.
So this is más o menos.
Yeah.
The Oculus Rift, what is an Oculus Rift?
It can be it's not a wearable device because you are wired to a computer.
All right, so it's not wireless.
Yeah,
Very
it's
good.
not wireless.
But can you quickly explain, what is it?
Yes, we have one over there.
We'll show one in a second. Okay, and the iWatch?
The iWatch, of course. It's the new Apple Watch.
Yeah.
And it can be operated without using your hands. And it can enhance your actions and record your activity. So it is, clearly.
Cool. So now, if we've learned the definition, how many of you would see, can I say a raise of hands, how many of you are actually wearing a wearable? You are. I am. And I think, I mean, that if you can move to that side of the stage, we can do your demo. I'm wearing two at the moment. When Abby called me, it's like, do you want to moderate the session on wearables? I was like, yeah, sure, I wear wearables. One of them you might have spotted. This is a narrative clip. And this is actually great for events and trade shows and conferences. What this does, this automatically takes a photograph every 30 seconds. right? And it detects the moved photos, so it actually keeps only the clean photos. And you can imagine walking around a trade show for 3 days, meeting so many different people at so many times. All of a sudden, I not only have a stack of business cards, but actually can go through the timeline and see who that person was, where I met them. Great application. The battery is a bit empty quickly, but it works for a couple of hours. And the other thing I'm wearing, and I'll talk more about that in a second, is my Fitbit. Some of you have that here. It's a step counter, actually an activity measurement tool. So it tells me how much steps I walk in a day. It tells me how many floors I've climbed in a day. It tries to tell me how many calories I burned in a day. And what that means and what it does, we'll get to that in a second, but it's quite interesting. But obviously, let's have a look at our bionic man right here, because you kind of overdid it right here.
Yeah, a little bit.
Can you take us on a short little tour?
Yeah.
What do we have here? And we put him here because we have some spotlight, and maybe you can see.
Here I'm wearing Lumo. Is to improve my position.
The little black.
Yeah,
dot.
when I'm like this, it buzzes. So I keep my.
It's in your back?
No, it's here.
It's only there.
Yeah, it's a magnet and it's a small piece that helps you do this. And you also have coach mode that tries to help you to improve your position. And then at least this device is to take care of my health.
Exactly,
okay?
exactly. So it actually corrects you when you're in the wrong posture.
Because I tend to do this, and now I'm more like that.
Cool, cool.
Okay, the other one, it's an MIO. MIO has a lot of sensors. It senses my muscles, the muscles on my arm, and this company is really new, and they started, what they allow us to do today is just to swipe on a presentation, to take on something, and to change. But I've seen
in a digital interface.
In a digital interface.
It's motion control of a digital
motion
interface.
control, and it has a lot of accelerometers, gyroscopes, and all that stuff. But I've seen we use it on a platform that the name is WearScript, and we use it in combination with other technologies. And you can use it for shooting, for pointing, or for a lot of things in situations that you don't have a line of sight between you and. It's not necessary to have a line of sight.
Okay, cool.
And
what else is on you?
I'm wearing Google Glass.
Oh, really?
And,
it's almost out of fashion already. Google Glass is so 2013, you know. Okay.
Yeah, I agree with you, because during the last year, they have no news with this device. And people that is not developing things on this is starting to get tired. And one last wearable that I'm wearing is this one. Is more for professional use.
What is that? What is it called?
This is Buzix.
Buzix?
Do you know the big software manufacturer SAP?
Yes.
SAP is using this one for logistics. There's a video on internet about logistics. A lot of people think that it's on Google Glass. It's not Google Glass. It's Buzix. It's this one. And the main difference is that the interface is touchless. So you don't need to touch the D-pad. Okay. So you can operate them just moving your hand this way.
And how does SAP apply this in the logistic chain? I mean, is it for order picking, or how does it work?
Yes, it can be used for order picking, for a system, for engine maintenance, and for all that stuff that happens inside a space like this. Also for mining, for gas, for electric industry. And even Google Glass can be used this way, but a lot of people is tending to use it as a first level of support, in which you have an engineer in the headquarters helping the one that is on the field.
All right.
Okay.
Cool. That's just what you're wearing.
Yeah.
But I understand you're building like a database online where you store all this stuff. Can you take us along in your browser?
Yeah. I will show you a little bit.
Can we switch to the browser? Oh, you have to exit the PowerPoint, otherwise you won't get your browser.
Yeah. What?
Yeah. Just escape, and then we go. There it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you get it up?
I'm not on screen.
No, it's coming. Should be coming. There we go.
Still.
We're making these guys sweat a bit in the back,
Sorry
right?
about that.
Like, we don't only do PowerPoint. We want to show browsers. We want to show videos. Just make them work a bit, right? It's Thursday.
Okay, but still, I can still explain it to you.
Let me see if
there are
the signal in.
The number of wearable devices nowadays. It's more. than
Komt die binnen bij jou?
300. We are compiling a database of the most interesting device,
Pim, even.
and especially the ones that can be used on events. So,
let me check. Go on. I'll fix
okay.
this for you.
And we are not selling them. We are acting just like a watch. We watch all the wearables that are appearing, even campaigns that on Quickstarter, and I will show you some of them. For me, the most interesting nowadays, Lumo is one of the best for me because.
There you go.
Okay.
So.
Here you have the list. It's super easy. We started 2 weeks before IBTM, and we will be working a lot with that. On one side, we have all these lists. All these lists, you can see all the watches, all the bands, and but there are a few less known. This is one example. This is a helmet in which you can use it on field. It has a camera, has a display that can be on your helmet. I like especially these glasses from Aether. These glasses from Aether are a combination of a kind of Google Glass, but binocular vision. I see augmented reality and also have a lip, so they can detect how I move my hands. And we have one ordered. I expect to receive this January. But we have been playing with the software already. We are creating crazy stuff for these glasses. And I have it here with me, and I can show to you the glasses from Epson. These also are binocular and allow you to see really augmented reality. Some people call Google Glass augmented reality glasses. This is not true because they have to cover all my line of sight. As you can see, my line of sight is free. So if I want to talk about augmented reality, it has to be in the middle, not above. We have few demos if you want to take a look after. Of course, now a lot of people is wearing Fitbit, different kinds of armbands that register your activity. I think that Gerrit has really a good point about that, about the activity. I think that this is really good. Of course, we have Google Glass, we have Jawbone, and this is interesting. This is really old one. When we get into the fair, the people scans us. It can be solved with optical technology, but still, this is one of the first wearable devices. Is it working? The audio? Yeah? Yeah, okay. It's just you move your finger and you scan the one that you have in front. It's a really old one. These glasses are the best glasses. The Meta 4000, and it's like a Aether, but without wires. Wireless. It's like Google Glass with a Kinect or with a lip in a 3D interface that you can move around all the things, 3D, augmented reality. They just went to live. 3 weeks ago.
This thing is 3,500. Is that the most expensive thing on the list, or what do you have?
Here we have on the list, yes.
Yes?
Yes, I think that maybe there's one more that it's more expensive. Let me check. Here, we can adjust the range.
Okay.
And see, I think that, yes, the one from Boothix, this one is for military use. It costs around 6,000, and it's a full VGA that allows you to see augmented reality, but in military resolution.
All right.
The list is not complete, as I said. It's an ongoing task. We also have really interesting news. Let me show just, I think that I have it here, the wearable bra.
Oh yeah, let's finish with that one.
Yeah, sure, is this one. Here you are. When this is crazy because when this, I don't know why, but why they create this, when these girls come together, the bra stamping changes.
It does what?
Can change. It's intelligent wear that can change the color, the shape, depending on the situation. In this example, the bra changes color when these two girls are together. It's from a big manufacturer. So,
all right. I think they should make that for dresses, right? You enter the party and there's someone with exactly the same dress and then it can change color. Isn't that a nice application?
Yeah.
There we go.
Thank you, Gerrit.
Yeah, of course. Thank you very much. And the thing is, of course, Xavi, if I summarize this correctly, we basically see three types of technology, right?
Yeah.
Is there often a camera involved, capturing stuff?
Yeah.
There's a display kind of technology that shows you digital information on top of the real world.
Yeah.
And then we have all the kinds of activity and movement and body trackers, right?
Yeah.
Is that a good summary?
It's a good summary. I will add coaching.
Coaching.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's a nice bridge because it's fun that all this stuff is out there, and we wanted to give you a peek into the glass bowl. But the question is, what does it mean, right? So before I go to Peter to ask him what it means to wear a Google Glass in the conference, let me tell you what it meant for me when I started wearing the Fitbit, right? Because what it basically does, it taps into the trend of quantified self. Have you heard about that? That all of a sudden we have so many sensors around us that we actually start to collect data about our behavior. Because our brain is it messes us up. Because rationally, we know very well what's good and bad for us, right? We know we should have gone to bed earlier. We know what healthy food is. We know we shouldn't dig into that chocolate. Yet we also have these primal parts of our brain that just go into instinct and they grab the chocolate and they take another drink and they go to bed late. Now the thing is how our brain works, although we know it's not right, you have this cognitive dissonance where your ratio will kind of cover up for you. And it will mess up your statistic and say, yeah, okay, I stopped smoking. Well, I only smoke when I have a beer, but that's like, nah, it's not that often, right? Until you actually start to log and quantify the data that is hard, right? That's subjective, and it shows you, well, guy, you're smoking every other day. Or, yeah, no, I'm a healthy person, I walk a lot. Well, the Fitbit tells me that although the average should be, I don't know if you heard, you should walk like 10,000 steps on average, right? That's a healthy habit. It's about 20 minutes of walking in a day. In an average office day, I only make about 3,500 steps. That's nothing, right? You're sitting still all day, and you're probably poor posture. I'm not wearing that thing yet. So you're just demolishing your body in the type of work that we're doing. So what it means for my behavior, I actually now consciously, in the afternoon break, go take a walk. You can say, yeah, you can think of that yourself. Yes, of course. But if you're confronted by the data every day, it makes it a lot easier to change the behavior. Same thing in the parking lot. I always try to park as close to the door as possible. But now this becomes some kind of gamification thing, right? So now if there's a parking spot further away, I'm okay because, hey, it's extra steps, right? It's good for me. So the whole feedback loop of what you do and the way it acknowledges you and gives you the data actually changes the behavior. Another thing, weight tracking. It's not wearable. I have to do it manually. I have to step on the scale, but it's automatically lost. I have this electronic scale that logs my weight. You know what I came to learn? This conference work of us kind of has these season peaks, right? We have this slow time in the summer, then we have the fall, then around January it slows down again, and then we have the spring. It just showed me visually, I'm not going to put it on the screen, I gain about 3 to 4 kilos over an average 3 months of conferences and meetings that I run. I take very bad care of myself, and you know how that goes. You're on the road, there's all this great food. Actually, there's the 3 kilos, and then over summer I'm like, oh, I should go to the beach, I go work out and all the stuff, 3 kilos are gone. Now, the interesting thing is not making that observation. I mean, we all know that probably, right? If you have a scale, you see that happen. But the thing is, by being confronted with the graph, what happens is now that I see it happen earlier, right? Now all of a sudden I'm very conscious when it's April and I say, ooh, there's the first kilo. And I can actually break the graph and correct my behavior earlier. That's very powerful. Now let's go to you, Peter. When you wore the Google Glass throughout the conference, what happened?
Hello? Okay, thank you. Actually, thank you, Gerrit. I think what you just described is a very important trend for us to realize, because the wearables are almost like our sixth sense, right? This quantified self, or even the Google Glass, they are kind of bringing another context to ourselves that we didn't see or we didn't know about before. And it's kind of similar with the Google Glass, although as Xavi said, there are not that many applications yet. Why I wear the Google Glass at the conference that you mentioned was that because we designed this application for Google Glass, where actually the moderator of an event can have the questions from you guys coming live, and he can kind of integrate those questions live into the discussion. I wanted to know how the moderator will feel after 2 days of wearing this thing on his head for the whole time. Is it going to be kind of cumbersome? Is he going to have headache? Or is he going to be distracted by some things? So that was kind of my ambition. And the experience was very interesting. And I think it's very similar to what you said with the Fitbit, that you don't actually know what's going to happen. And many times you're surprised by how your behavior is changed. The first kind of really big surprise for me was that it was not really the technology that happened, but it was actually the reaction of the people to me. So when I walked into this Fresh conference, many people never seen Google Glass before, so they asked, oh, what is that? It was kind of a very nice conversation starter in Europe. In the US nowadays, if you wear this, in some parts of the US, you have to be a little bit careful, where actually the reaction of the other people can be very different and not very friendly. So the number one thing that you realize with the wearables is it's a new thing, and many people are suspicious of new things. So I think 50% of the people that I talk to ask me, are you checking my Facebook right now? Or are you watching, I don't know, some video or something about me? So they're like very, and in Europe, the people were still kind of, it was still too new for them to be scared. But in the US, some of the reactions were not like very happy when I had the glass on me. But otherwise, what it helps you is it gives you this kind of additional context. So it's super easy to make a photo. It's super easy to kind of do the video, which, again, that's why maybe these negative reactions are coming in place. And I think, Gerrit, you, when going into actually this kind of also reaction of other people to you, you have something prepared that you would like to show, right?
We found, just to visualize this, because since you guys have never worn a Google Glass, there's this great video on YouTube. Obviously, it's comedy. I should make that disclaimer. But you can have a first-hand experience of what it's like to wear Google Glass when you're doing a job interview. Let's see if it's working. He's putting on the glass. It's French, but you still get the message.
Ok, merci. Alors, je me présente, je m'appelle Julie Paty, j'ai 28 ans et voici mon CV.
Bon, quelles sont vos qualités?
Mes qualités, je pense être quelqu'un de ponctuel et j'ai un excellent relationnel.
Ah, très intéressant.
Voilà.
Parlez-moi de votre dernière expérience professionnelle.
Alors, j'ai travaillé 5 ans chez L&D Management. J'ai beaucoup appris sur moi-même, c'était très intéressant.
Très intéressant.
Pour moi, le contrôle de gestion est primordial. C'est devenu ma passion. Je parle espagnol aussi. A mí me gusta el chocolate. Et puis depuis j'ai fait quelques expériences dans d'autres entreprises et je pense vraiment pouvoir correspondre à
Tu m'étonnes, elle est trop bonne.
Pardon?
Non, je disais, la cantine est très bonne, quoi.
Oui, alors j'ai vu ça, voilà, j'ai vu ça sur votre site internet et effectivement, je trouve ça, enfin, c'est un plus dans une entreprise. Il fait chaud, non, ici? Ça vous dérange si
Non, allez-y, pas de souci.
Merci. Et puis je fais du sport aussi.
Oui.
Je fais un peu de sport, je fais du patinage artistique. Là, j'aime beaucoup. Je trouve que quand on est stressé, c'est bien d'avoir un exutoire, un sport, quelque chose qui... Tout va bien?
Non, en fait, il y a une mouche là. Vous faites aussi...
All right, so we kind of see what the technology could do, right? And let's think about what this could mean for our meetings, right? Because and we'd like to take both sides, both the dark and the bright side, because every technology has opportunities and it has threats. But let's explore the threats a bit, because you can imagine if you're running a conference and you make money because you show content to your attendees, and all of a sudden there's a bunch of attendees that can just, as simply as that, pull in their colleagues or people from all over the world, start live streaming your content. What is that doing to your business model, right? How about if anything can be covered? What is your take on that, Peter? What do you see are some of the common dark sides that people announce?
So actually, if you can bring back Sli.do, there is already one question from the audience, which is asking, so what about privacy with the narrative clip, people being photographed? So this is definitely one of the key risks that almost everyone asks. So what about privacy? Like, what kind of guarantee I have when I meet you and you wear the wearable? What kind of guarantee I have that I'm not going to be on Facebook in a few minutes, or our conversation is not recorded. And this is definitely like a #1 concern, and also that's why in the US there's such a big backlash against that. And I think maybe you can answer this one.
Yeah, I'll answer the second one. What of the narrative clip in the bathroom? Obviously, if I would keep wearing it, it would record, but you can actually quickly turn it around, and as soon as it's covered, it stops recording, right? So that's how you deal with that. And other than that, those photos are not live streamed or anything, right? So, but what about privacy? Is there any legislation at the moment already that is tapping into this? Yeah, take that. Yeah.
Okay. Google, in their terms of service about Google, see if we're talking about Google Glass, they specifically said that we cannot do face recognition.
Okay. Because you're also an app developer for the Google Glass, right? And you wanted to, that's the whole story we keep hearing, right? Oh, networking in the future is going to be so much fun. You wear the Google Glass and you see who the person is and you have the Facebook profile on the side. You tried to build that.
Yeah, no, I've done that.
Yes. You've done that, okay. So this is no future, this is ready. Yeah.
No, I've done that because it's not that difficult, because you have a lot of public APIs that you can use to recognize faces. So it's not that difficult. So, but as I was reading to develop the app, Google write an example, and when you feel that someone is scanning your face, like scanning your face to search information on you, you get the same feeling that when the police stops you and asks for your documentation. It's exactly the same feeling. So I get it. We stopped. And it will never hit the market.
Okay, so now you're saying there's no official government legislation, but Google is kind of limiting himself?
Google is limiting himself, but there are other people, I don't remember the name, maybe Peter can help me, FaceTap or some name like that. And even Facebook sent them a letter of cease and desist to stop doing that. Because I understand, but let me tell you one thing. If I wear Google Glass, everything that I'm going to do, it's obvious.
What do you mean with that?
Yeah, I mean that you can see that I have it on my face. If I want to do a bad thing, a spy on you, you will never know. Because I will not wear something on my face.
We don't know if the camera is on, right?
You know if the camera is on because you see a light.
Oh,
and there's another point. We cannot take a picture or even record an image if the display is off. Google, it's not allowed by the terms of service.
Okay.
But still, my point is you can go to MediaMarkt, buy a pen with a camera, €15, and you can record everything, and no one knows.
All right. Maybe it's fun to ask you guys about what you think are the biggest threats of these kind of technology. We've prepared a little poll, if we can get that up. Oh, it should, you switch that up, Peter, right? Could you take out your mobile again, Sli.do, wearables? What do you actually think are the biggest barriers for adopting wearable technology, especially in meetings and events? Is it the privacy? Is it maybe the distraction of your audience? Well, because the phone in your pocket, it's still quite obvious if you're distracted and you're sitting there. Now it's even become more frictionless. How about health concerns? I mean, all this stuff.
That's the one we haven't talked about.
Yeah,
but actually, like after 2 days of wearing this, I was not sure why I have a slight headache if it's like the glass. And you know, like no one has worn this for 10 years. So what's going to happen if I wear this for 10 years in a row? Do I really want to do it? And if we maybe have an event for our attendees where we tell them, oh guys, we prepared this cool glass for you, just wear it for the whole 2 days. You know, are you going to be responsible if they suddenly come to you like, oh, I have a huge headache because of you or something?
Are you saying you had a headache because you wore that thing 2 days?
I have no idea why I
mean, you were at a conference, right? Wasn't it something else?
It might not be the glass, but you don't know, right? That's the thing.
Exactly.
Like, you don't know what this can cause to you because you're wearing it on your head. It's computer. It's connected to Wi-Fi, to the internet. Yeah. So it's definitely one of the concerns, which might be.
The same thing happened to me the first 2 days that I was wearing Google Glass. I had headache.
Massive headache, yeah?
Yeah, but I noticed what is the reason.
Why?
It's easy. You have to open it up because they are pressing me here. And I get headache because of that. Usually now I'm wearing spectacle frames. Usually I wear it with regular frames and I have no headache.
Okay.
Still, if I'm developing, I remember last IBTM, I've been developing like 20 hours in a row, but I get headache, but it's for another reason.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay?
Exactly. Well, I guess our common sense is that we all think that the privacy issue is the main barrier. Could you elaborate on that? Why would you say that privacy will keep these out of the meetings? Let me see if I can get a mic. Who would like to comment on that? Because that it's an issue is obvious, but would it keep it away? Yeah, go ahead, sir.
I just think through, especially in academic meetings, a lot of academics and medical professionals have intellectual property.
Yep.
That's very important to them, and they don't want to release that to anyone who could be live streaming around the world or anyone who could be recording what they're speaking about. There's a lot of money involved in some things that people present, and I think that's would be one big privacy issue.
So would you mean that as a consequence for us as the meetings industry and meeting planners, will we start putting these Google Glass bands or wearable camera bands on the door when you enter the conference?
I think you would get to that stage, but at the same stage it's hard because, like the gentleman at the front said, you could go and buy a pen for 50 euros or have something in your shirt and be recording at the same time. It's hard, but I think when we see that it's so obvious, we feel threatened, and I think that would happen, yeah.
All right. What's your take on that, guys? Do you think we should put signs on the door, Google Glass not allowed in this conference?
Could be, but I think that humankind moves with the masses. So if more than 30% of the people is wearing Google Glass, it's normal, nothing happens. It's like the mobile. You can do nasty things with your mobile. Really, really nasty things. And no one says nothing because more than 30% is wearing a smartphone. I've seen a video from 10 years ago. They are really scared on the CNBC, really scared about mobile phones with camera. The same thing, exactly the same point.
Okay, so do you, maybe Peter or Xavi, do you have a take on, because this is an issue, right? Obviously, banning the Google Glass is not the point. What would be the solution for example, protect intellectual property?
We actually discussed a lot of time with different people about this, and I think one potential solution, because now, 20 years ago, there was kind of not a lot of danger of someone taking photo of you or a video of you and uploading it somewhere like where it's really easily kind of identifiable and where they can identify actually you in the video. But now it's getting more and more like that. So one of the possible options is that, and I think it's not going to come from government, it's actually going to come from the big companies or from the developers, is that if you are recorded, that you would get notified that the picture of you or the video of you is being uploaded, and if you are okay with that, or the content of yours. And if we build this kind of in-product, in-device protections, in-software protections, then that could help with the privacy, I think. But again, that's just one idea, and there are many other possible ideas.
It's a nice point, Peter, but I still fully understand the thing about intellectual property, but sometimes this is just a device. It's like a knife. You can use it to cut vegetables or to kill someone. It depends on you. And the ethics of the people, it's something that need to evolve. And I think that the good point is that we show you our concerns now, before it gets widespread. And we talk about it. And we look how to solve all these issues.
Cool. Well, before I go into that question, I just want to see if a lot of you also voted distraction as a barrier or a threat to these things entering the meeting industry. Is there anybody who wants to elaborate on that? Anyone who voted that and sees that as a big problem? No? Okay, that's just there. Is there any experience from you guys in terms of distraction, Peter, when you were wearing that?
Well, of course, you know, the distraction, we feel it with the mobile phones, right? Like the lady that said she's checking her mobile phone more than 100 times, so now she would get all of these notifications right in front of her eyes. So I think people will just have to become much more self-conscious and have more self-discipline. And again, we can't prevent that. Like as Xavi said, like 10 years ago, it was, you told everyone at the beginning of a session, please turn off your mobile phones. Now you tell them, please take out your mobile phones and go to the internet and do this and interact. So it's going to be very similar, that we will find the use cases that actually bring value to the events. But again, there will be some kind of period where people will be facing some struggles.
Good. Now we saw the questions and 2 upvotes. This is working really well. from a meeting planner perspective, right? What kind of wearables would you recommend us to buy in terms of either productivity or health, or what would your guess be?
I think, Peter, please start. No, I'm not the guru. I think that watch is the device.
Yes.
This year device. It depends a little bit if you are an Android guy or an Apple guy. You will have to wait, or you can go ahead now. For me, today, the best is Moto 360. And Motorola 360.
Motorola 360. That's a watch also.
Yeah, it's a watch. I'm just wearing the LG. I forget to mention. Yeah, and you can use it as a microphone for your phone, and you can see the results of the search directly on your wrist. And also, you can see all the notifications, all the WhatsApps that you get, all the emails, even the calls. While you are in a meeting, you have your mobile on your pocket, and sometimes you are not able to listen.
And especially for ladies, because I read that recently, we have them in our pockets, but a lot of ladies have them in their purse, right?
Yeah.
So you don't even feel the vibrations, or you don't see the important call coming in.
Yeah.
So you would say the watch is very important to be in real time while you're meeting planning.
And here the distraction comes in, right?
Exactly, yeah. Anything else?
Yes, there's a new device that will hit the market at the beginning of the year, that will act as a walkie-talkie. And you have your mobile on your pocket, and just press a button, and you have like a WhatsApp group that listens to your voice, and you listen to them. So I think that this is cool if we talk about the production side, not about the
yeah, in the real-time production of the meeting, that you can be in touch with your whole crew. Yeah, I would definitely recommend you to get a Fitbit because of two things. First of all, when you're in the office, it actually makes you move more. But the other thing that happens, when you're out here and you eat so poorly and you drink too much, at least you get the pat on your back because you walk like 23,000 steps in a day, right? So it kind of balances out you walking off all the poor food. So definitely get a Fitbit, it's fun.
But I would like to kind of jump in with the, I know, I might look like an advocate of the Google Glass, but for a meeting professional, imagine you wearing this, you're running around the whole day, and you can actually get all the messages, all the feedback from the attendees, all the important stuff right in front of your eyes, even if you're doing whatever, anything else. And that can be extremely useful because at meetings, even sometimes seconds can be important. So the glass thing, once it gets there, it's not there yet, but once it gets there, once more applications are built for that, can be super useful tool for the meeting professionals, I think.
So let's take the bottom question. Why are you wearing the glasses right now? Or was that for Xavi? Why are you wearing all the glasses right now?
Seriously, I'm testing a lot of software that we are creating.
Also right now? Or is this just for show?
Not now. Now they are off.
Okay.
During the show, I just take pictures. I live stream sometimes, not now. And I use it to check my email and to share the pictures and even to send message.
Okay. And for you, Peter, is this on now?
For me, it's primarily about like, so we built the application for Sli.do where you can actually see the questions that are coming through in the glass, and you can kind of easily control them through the glass as well. So especially as Gerrit is standing there, if he would have them right now, you know, like he would not have to wear an iPad or something, and he could easily see what you guys want to hear or what you want to answer. So for us, it's more kind of one of the use cases for Sli.do.
All right. And I guess we're moving naturally into the opportunities that these wearables pose for meetings. We've said about team communication, real-time collaboration, quicker messaging. Yeah. What other opportunities do you see in the meetings industry?
Do you mind, Gerrit, if I show you one thing? Maybe some of the attendees have seen one of the devices that will be breaking.
Oh, you don't want to show it on the screen?
Yeah, no,
okay.
Just directly.
Yeah.
One of the things that we want during an event sometimes is to show our content, to tell the people things, and to make an impression. We want that say, wow. One of the devices that we have been playing with, it's just a cardboard, in which you can put your mobile inside and watch 360 3D content. It's a gadget. It could be a wearable. It's not a wearable.
You have to use your hands, huh?
Yeah,
you have to
use your hands. But you can have a strap and use it. But it's not a wearable. If we talk about other devices that we use that are wearable and we use to show content, we use Mobirio. Are these other classes? These one are wearable, okay? And these are augmented reality. We do a kind of magic with this. We show content that appears just here, and
do you mean you deploy at large scale, so like the whole audience would be wearing one of these glasses?
This can be not deployed at large scale, but because has the same problem that it's a logistics problem.
Okay.
You can rent 1,000 iPads, but you cannot rent 1,000 Mobirio glasses.
Okay, so it's smaller audience, trade show booths, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
This is the reason of this.
Exactly.
This can be largely deployed. It costs €5. Okay.
Cool.
Cool. And that's my point.
What other opportunities or use cases do you see in events?
In events, I think that we will, if the costs low down, we will offer as a gift some wearables. There are a few interesting wearables. Maybe some of you know it's in between. It's in between Internet of Things, the beacons, and a wearable device. When you combine pressing a button on this kind of device, when the price gets low, we will have audience feedback for giving them away.
Exactly.
Okay. Sorry, Peter, for sure you will integrate this kind of device with your audience reaction, but still will be a discrete wearable, and I think that also a kind of Fitbit will be given away.
Okay. Well, that's a nice bridge, because there's a final point, because we're always the tech hour is almost done, that I want you to think about. Think about not even what yourself you're going to buy, but think about entering or tailoring to an audience that is walking around with Fitbits, that is logging their weight, that is checking their posture. And then think about what you are physically doing to them in your conferences and events, right? You make them sit all day in these theaters. You might or might not give them healthy food. You make them walk. The thing is, I'm thinking you will get meeting participants in your audience that actually are going to hold you accountable, or at least, well, they won't hold you accountable. They will be confronted with the fact that attending a conference is actually quite an unhealthy experience, and they might choose otherwise, right? Could be becoming a reason that they don't come, or, and I always like the upside, it could become a competitive advantage when you now tap into the vitality trend, not only because it's a vitality trend and we should all be healthy, but because you realize that your future participants, and this is very near future, will actually become finding that stuff more and more important, because they have the real-time data of what is happening with them at a trade show, in a conference, right?
Maybe if I can jump into it. What you said is just super important, because you will be not only more conscious about your health, but you will be also much more conscious about where you actually got the real value from the conference. So as you walk around, as you meet people, as you learn new stuff, you'll be able to kind of much better quantify what were really the interesting and valuable moments for you in the conference, and you'll be able to compare the different conferences among each other. Yeah. So it's this.
So in a way, you will be like the doctors nowadays, right? They are confronted with Dr. Google. All of a sudden, they find people in their offices that know so much more about health because they Googled their sickness. Maybe your meeting participants are going to become wise asses about how you create value for them and where the value is. Now, what we'd like to close off with is a final poll, because we've talked about the upsides and the downsides. We'd like to understand, where do we leave our audience? So if we can switch to the poll. What do you think will prevail? Is it the bright side, the opportunities, the chances that these wearable technologies are giving us, and this will cause rapid growth for the meetings industry? Or will it actually be that there's too many negatives, the privacy thing, the health concerns, and this whole thing will stay away from our industry for a while? What's your take on that? Okay. It seems that, and this is interesting feedback for us as well, that we leave you at the place that although we see some threats and drawbacks, in general we feel that there's great opportunities here. Adoption might be slow. Well, the whole word slow, and that's maybe my final point I want to give to you, the whole perception of time, you know, we're actually quite wrong in that. Because what we tend to do, is we kind of extrapolate development, right? So we look back in the last 5-6 years, and we think like, oh yeah, and 5-6 years ago we didn't have Facebook, or it just started, and then we had in 5 years the whole social media trend and the technology thingy. So we kind of think, oh, that speed of development, let's extend it another 5 years, and then maybe we have some more wearables. Well, the fact is that these developments actually go exponential. So the thing we've seen in the past 5 years, that pace will probably be developments in the next 2 years, and then what we've seen in the next 2 years will probably be the speed of development in the next year. So be cautious with the word slow there. Things might be coming at you faster than you think. Yeah, Xavi, final words?
If you had the chance, take a look at PSFK report on wearables. Because
Could you tweet that out after the session,
yes, sure.
so they can
I will tweet
find it?
that out later. Yeah,
yeah,
cool. I'll do that, definitely.
All right, cool. Any final words, Peter, from you?
Just don't be afraid of it and embrace the value that it can bring.
Exactly.
Wearables. It's coming.
Well, thank you very much. Even if though we're quite a small crowd here, can you give us the biggest round of applause you have for our panelists? Thank you very much, guys. And thank you very much for showing up here on the third day of EIBTM. I hope you have a great final afternoon, and please enjoy. If you have any questions for any three of us, please stick around. We'll be around here. Thank you.